right, people, we are here. We are here. We need to. Oh, I just need to make sure that you can hear me, and then we'll get this bad boy going. Okay, cool. I sound good. You can hear me. We're gonna get this show on the roll. So today we are making a video. We're gonna be talking about sowing financial seeds. Um, this is a concept that for young adults, I kid you not, if you get this concept, if you understand this concept of sowing financial seeds, it will change your life forever. Not only in a financial sense, but in life sense, because the world operates based on sowing and reaping. So that's what we're going to get into first, because I can't tell you so much about trying to sow a financial seed. I have to get you guys, I got to meet you guys where you're at. Some of you guys might already be familiar, but I have to meet everybody where they're at. So the first thing that we have to establish is that the world operates on laws. If we are rule breakers by nature, some of us, um so we don't like to follow rules, but the order and the way in which things were set up by the creator, whoever you believe in, it was created with an order, and there are laws that govern that order. In a physical sense, let's take the example of gravity, right? Gravity says, basically, in a nutshell, that what goes up must come down. You're not getting out of that. What goes up must come down. The reason for that is that gravity is the force that pulls everything to the earth. Gravity is a force that pulls everything to the earth. So, understanding that, we make certain decisions. We say, okay, well, it probably isn't just wise for me to jump off of a 10-foot building. Reason why it's not wise for me to jump off of a 10-foot building is that I'm most likely going to die, because my body was not built to withstand a 10-foot fall, particularly depending on the surface that you're falling on. Maybe if you fall on grass, you might have a better chance of survival. But if you take a 10-foot fall and you're hitting the pavement, you're hitting concrete, um, might not make it. Unless you know how to roll it or whatever. But the point is, we make decisions based on our physical understanding of the world. In a spiritual sense, things are the same. There are spiritual laws. So just as much as there's physical laws that govern our being, our existence, in a physical sense, there are spiritual laws too that govern our existence in a spiritual sense. So there's quite a few spiritual laws. Know how spiritual some of you guys are, but there are quite a few. Today we're going to be talking about the spiritual law of sowing and reaping. So sowing and reaping, some people like to think of it as karma. Um, some people like to think of it as what goes around comes around. Um, but all of those things are extensions, all of those expressions are extensions of the law of sowing and reaping. And so, what the law of sowing and reaping basically says is this: thoughts that nourish flourish. That's basically what it says, because this is a more deeper concept that we'll have to get into in another video. I don't have the opportunity to just go really in depth in this, but we do what we do is based on how we think. So for anything in life, if you drive, let's say you drive a Jeep, you have a thought before you bought that Jeep, you had a thought that, okay, this would be a good idea. I want a Jeep. And you went out and you did what you thought. There's no action that precedes thought. Thought precedes action. So the law of sowing and reaping says that thoughts that nourish will flourish. So basically, what that is saying is what you think about is what you will become. Some people might have heard that expression. What you think about is what you will become. Um, or what's a better way? I'm getting frozen, guys. Forgive me. I got my notes here, and I want to deliver this message because this is such a powerful message, you guys. Your thoughts, if you look at your thoughts, you look at where you're at in your life right now. If you're 17, 18, 19, 20, if you look at where you're at right now, it is the result of how you thought about life. I'll give you guys a personal story. When I was in high school, I'm 23 now. I've graduated college. I graduated high school years ago. I've graduated college. I'm in my graduate degree. I'm getting a master's degree right now. But I'm gonna take you guys back to high school. When I was in high school, I was a terrible high school student. I had thoughts, bad thoughts towards education. I hated school. Put it plain and simple. I did not like school. I was a chronic skipper. Um, I had the classes I pick and chose which classes I wanted to go to, but for the most part, um, I did not attend school. It wasn't until and we're talking right now, my freshman, my sophomore, in my junior year. It wasn't until my senior year where I started to actually get serious because I was actually up against like, okay, I'm seeing people around me who are like 19, 20 still in high school. Like, I don't want to be that. What do I need to do to graduate on time? So, but my freshman, my sophomore year, and my junior year, I was just basically BSing. I wasn't taking school seriously. I didn't get really good grades. And senior year came and I started to get serious about school. I had really good like A's and B's senior year, but I was up against all of the bad thoughts that I had freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So I was trying to overcome that in 1 year. You can't overcome 3 years of sowing bad seeds in 1 year. It takes if you did 3 years of bad sowing, it takes 6 years to get even. But that's not the point that I'm making. So I had friends on both sides of the spectrum. I had friends who were going off to universities. They had, offers from UT. I went to school in Houston, Texas. I had friends who were getting offers from UT, University of Houston, Texas A&M. All these really nice schools, right? And here I am. I got also other friends who like they barely probably about to get out of high school. Like they probably not about to make it. And so I'm looking at the friends over here and I'm like, dang, they getting full ride opportunities to go just because their SAT score, just because their GPA. And I'm like, man, I want to go out to college. But my GPA, my SAT scores were so bad from junior year that in my previous years that I could not go off to college. I didn't get any offers to go to college. I had to go to community college. And there was nothing wrong with going to community college. Community college is good, but I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do, what I really wanted to do in my heart, because of the bad seeds that I sowed when I was in my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. So I got to college, HCC, I hit the ground running. I had straight A's because I was like, man, I got to get into a university. And it was a challenge because there was a lot of things I was dealing with at the time. I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college. I didn't think that I was equipped enough. So there's a lot of things like mentally that was challenging me at the time, but I did it. I had all A's. Second semester came, I had all A's, 1B. So I wasn't playing around. Once I got to community college, I wasn't playing around. My second year came around. It was time for me to transfer. I did 2 years at a community college. It was time for me to transfer. I got accepted I applied to ASU, got accepted, and the rest is history. I ended up getting my degree from Arizona State University. And so that's a whole nother video because I need to give you guys a recap for anybody who's interested about my online degree from ASU. But I ended up going to ASU. And ASU is very, it's not like a Harvard or a Ivy League school, but it is a pretty prestigious school. It is a very well renowned school to go to. So, but anyways, like, something you guys will find out later though, when you get out of school, people don't really care unless you went to like a really top school. Really, it's all the same thing. But anyways, the seeds that I sowed put me in the position that I was. Now I redeemed myself, but it took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to redeem myself. I was blessed, but I could have been further along had I had a different thought process when I was in high school. So, circling everything back, thoughts that nourish flourish. My thoughts led me to where I was at the end of the road of my high school journey. My thoughts led me. It was nobody else's fault. I couldn't blame nobody. See, that's another thing. A lot of times people don't want to take accountability for the part that they play and where they are in their life. That's the first thing that precedes probably the law of sowing and reaping, is you got to take accountability. You got to take ownership for where you're at. And I couldn't blame nobody else. My thoughts put me in that position. How I thought about education put me in the position that I was in. So I would challenge you guys in your lives, think about where you're at in your life in certain areas, different areas, and think about how you think about those areas of your life, and think about how your thoughts have led you to where you're at in your life in that particular area. So we're going to circle everything into finances pretty soon, but I really have to drive home this concept, this spiritual law of sowing and reaping. So the second thing that you got to understand about sowing and reaping is that a bad seed cannot produce a good outcome. Likewise, the logic applies in the reverse sense. A good seed cannot produce a bad outcome. See, some people, they sow bad seeds. I've done it myself. We sow bad seeds. You sow bad seeds, and you think you're going to get a good outcome. You out here doing bad, you doing wrong, you know what you're doing is wrong, and you think you're going to come out end up with a good outcome. It doesn't work like that. The universe ain't set up for that. Likewise, if you doing good, it ain't no surprise. People act all surprised when you doing good things and you staying diligent and you doing what you supposed to be doing. People act all surprised when good things happen to you. That's how it works. I mean, it's a cycle. Good equals good, bad equals bad. you know. So the next question then becomes, well, what is a bad seed? What is a good seed? I'm going to tell you. So, a bad seed, I wrote down the definition. A bad seed is a immoral and lacking virtuous characteristic, thought, or action. So, An example of a thought or action that lacks virtuous characteristic and moral characteristic would be, I'm gonna get rich by robbing everybody, or I'm gonna get rich by lying and cheating people to get money. That's a bad seed. You can't have a good outcome when what you sowed, what you put into the ground was bad. You can't get a good outcome from that. You're not going to get a good outcome. Now a good seed is the reverse. A good seed is a thought or an action that is congruent with morality and virtue. So a good thought would be, I'm going to get wealthy by working hard. That's a good seed. That's a good seed. 90% of the people, actually, I go and I say 100% of the people who are really wealthy, you might not think that they worked hard because of what they doing now, but them people worked hard and they sacrificed a lot to get to where they at in their life. So that's a good seed. And a lot of those people reap the benefits of that seed and that thought. Because, and this is a whole nother spiel, but to be wealthy, wealth requires work. There is no like overnight sensation, overnight millionaire. You know, some people think they're gonna have this. I got this friend, man, I've known for years. You know, every time I talk to him, he has this cock-a-brained idea of how he's gonna get rich. Man, look, the law of getting wealthy is simple. Follow it. What you're trying to do doesn't work. You've been doing it for 5 or 6 years. You haven't gotten wealthy. It doesn't work. There is no get rich quick scheme to building wealth. It doesn't work like that. You're going to put the time in, you're going to put the work in, and you're going to have to make smart decisions along the way if you want to be wealthy. Other than that, you might as well just stop watching this video right now, because I can't give. See, I'm gonna tell you guys another story. I can't give you like a shortcut to success. I'm gonna tell you guys this story. I had this friend, so I trade stocks from time to time. I don't trade as much anymore just because I don't like the market. But last summer, I made a lot of money in the stock market. And my friend, I was, making, this was not a wise decision, but I was showing off to my friends like, hey, bro, I just made 10 bands today. Hey, bro, I just made 20 bands this week, you know? And so I'm showing my friend this, I'm thinking like, hey, this is my partner. This is who I've been down with for years. He's going to be happy for me, right? So he came to me, he was like, hey, bro, how you doing that? And I said, hey, you got to do this, you got to trade stop, blah, 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 blah. So he asked me, he said, well, will you show me how to do what you did? Now, when he said, will I show him how to do what I did? I thought he genuinely meant that he wanted me to show him how to do it. What he really meant was that I want you to give me the trades that you make. No, 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 no. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to teach you how to fish. I'm not going to fish for you. Okay? I'm going to teach you how to fish. I'm not going to fish for it. I can't give you the wealth. I can teach you how to be wealthy. I can give you all the knowledge and information, but I can't give it to you. Reason why, and so my friend asked me that, and the reason why I wouldn't tell him the trades that I do. Here's only one reason. Money in the hands of a fool does you no good. If you a fool and you got money, it's just gonna make you a bigger fool. What money does is money amplifies who you are. If you want to see what a person really values in their life, look at what they put their money in, and you're gonna see what they value. So for me, I would be doing my friend a disservice. Here I am, $20,000 coming in 1 week, and I'm putting you on to these same deals on how to make that, but your mind ain't right. So what you gonna do? is you're gonna go do stupid stuff with that $20,000. You ain't gonna go and reinvest the money. You ain't gonna go and put the money in an investment or a stock or put it on a down payment for. You're gonna go do something stupid. And so I'm not gonna put you in a position to be stupid. No, I'm not gonna do that. Now, if you want to be wealthy, hey man, look, first thing I'm gonna do, like how I did in my last video. Hey, bro, you gotta read Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you ain't really, my thing is this: if you're not willing to read literature about what it is that you say you want to do, then you're not really about it. You're not really about it. When I first got Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read the crap out of that book. I read the crap out of it. I read it in like 2 seconds. 2 days, I was done reading that book. I gave my friend that book. I gave it to him for free. I gave him my book. Still to this day, it's been a year. He ain't never came back to me and told me he read the book. So that what that tell me? That tell me everything I need to know. He don't think about being wealthy. He wanted somebody to give him money. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that because I know the work that I put in to be able to have the knowledge to make the trades and make the moves that I made in the market. That stuff didn't just come by osmosis. It didn't just come by accident. Like you don't accidentally just, well, some people do. Some people you do accidentally get lucky. But for the most part, trading is a skill. It is a craft. It is methodical. And so it doesn't, for the most part, for most people, trading is not accidentally. For most people making money, if you have a business, if you have, some sort of skill, that stuff is not by accident. You put work in, people put work in, people put work into time into their craft to get to the places that they are. So I'm not gonna let you come in on the back, bro. And I love my friend to death, like that's my boy. But I'm not gonna let you come in on the back end and try to reap the benefits of what the time and effort that I put in. And I'm not even asking you to put in all the effort that I put in, because man, I've read all kinds of trading books and I've just studied the graphs and the charts and stuff, just sitting there, just studying it. So I'm not even saying do that, man. All I said was just read a book. He didn't want to do it. So the point is, circling everything back, a good seed. I mean, a good seed cannot help but produce good. Bad seed cannot produce bad. You out here doing bad. You out here robbing. You killing. Why are you surprised when you get caught up? Why are you surprised when things go left? You out here sowing bad seeds. You stealing, you taking from somebody else who's worked hard for what they have, and you think you're gonna come out on the high end of the stick. You not. You not. It just don't work like that. And it's the same thing with wealth. There is no shortcut to being wealthy. You're gonna have to put the time in, you're gonna have to put the effort in, and that's okay. It's fun. Trust me, it really is fun. Um, so we've established the law of sowing and reaping. We've established a spiritual law, that there are spiritual laws that govern the universe. Then we've established the law of sowing and reaping. Hopefully, you guys have a good understanding of how the law of sowing and reaping works. If you have any questions, man, I would love to answer questions. Don't hesitate to leave comments. I'm here to serve you guys and help you guys understand this. So if it's not sounding clearly, if there's misunderstandings, just tell me and I will try to do my best to explain the information in a way that makes sense. So how do you begin if you're a young adult? How do you begin? Because that's what the essence of this video is, but we couldn't get to this until we got to the first part. If you're a young adult, you're 17, 18, 19, 20, how do you begin to sow financial seeds? So the first thing I want to tell you is that you are in an amazing position. The fact that you're watching this live stream, the fact that you're watching other videos like this, you're on the right track, because evidently by you watching this type of video, what it's telling me is you're thinking about wealth. And what you think about, what we just talked about, right? The law of sowing and reaping. Thoughts that nourish flourish. So you're already, what I want you to know first before we talk about a how-to, is that you're already on the right path. You're already thinking in the right direction. So you got that part down. That's good. So how you sow financial seeds is the first thing you got to figure out and establish what it is that you want out of your life. 19, 17, 18, 19, 20. Some people, a lot of, I know for me, I didn't know I'm still figuring it out as a 23, but I know more in the direction that I want to go than I did at 17, 18, 19, 20. So if you can figure out at 20, if you can know and be solidified in what it is that you want to do with your life, what is the purpose of your existence at the age of 20, you will put yourself light years ahead. And like I said, time is on your side. Like if you begin sowing some financial seeds right now at 17, 18, 20, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, by the time you're 30, you're a millionaire. And you hadn't even put in that much work. I'm trying to tell you. I can tell you guys right now, I've made a lot of stupid mistakes along the way. And so that's why I can share what I know and how I've stumbled. And hopefully, somebody will take heed to this message and they won't do what I did. But if I didn't make the financial mistakes that I made between the ages of 17 to 22, I can tell you right now, at a minimum, and this is just cash money. This ain't even talking about investing. At a minimum, I'd have right now about $100,000, about $100,000 more than what I already have. I would have that if I now I'm doing okay. I'm not doing as good as I should be doing, but I would minimum have about $100,000 more than what I have. So being silly between the ages of 17 and 22 cost me $100,000 minimum. That's just cash. Like I said, that's not even talking about ROI, because the greatest stock market run has happened in the last 10 years. So imagine if I got a part of those good returns. I mean, we could be potentially talking about $200,000-$300,000. But I was stupid. I made stupid decisions, and so I set myself back. But the thing about it is, I'm only 23. So I still am young enough and I understand the mistakes that I made. I'm not going to make those mistakes again. I can put myself in a position where by the time I'm 30, I may not have as much as some of you guys might have if you listen, but I'll still be doing pretty well. And so that's what I'm saying. So if you're 17, you got to understand time, and time is on you guys' side as far as sowing financial seeds. So the first thing is to figure out what it is that you want out of your life. I mean, and map it out to a T. Like literally, what kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of apartment do you want to live in? I mean, what kind of car do you want to drive? Like all of these things. Figure out what that. I mean, what kind of girl do you want to date if you're a guy? What kind of guy do you want to date if you're a girl? I mean, think about these things. Like, and the thing is, like, you don't have to figure it out all in one day. I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. Like, oh, I need to figure this out. I need this because Joseph said I need to do this. I need to do this. No, 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 no. Like it can take time, and you're young. It can take you time to figure out like what's right for you. There's nothing wrong with that. But to start to think about it is what I'm trying to get you guys to. Think about it. Don't be just going through your life aimlessly. Like have a direction, have an idea of that direction. You see what I'm saying? And as you get older, what's going to happen is you're going to become more solidified in whichever direction it seems like you want to go in. So but if you don't have an idea, you're just gonna be like a wild man, like just out here in a forest, like no direction at all. You don't know how to get out the forest. But if you have an idea how to get out the forest, you'll probably won't get out as fast, but you'll get out eventually. And you see what I'm saying? Now, it's better, right, if you know exactly what you want to do, because then you could be like a laser, A to B. But I understand that you don't, if you're young, you don't have a whole lot of life experience out in the real world. For the most part, you've been shielded by your parents from like the real world and how life really is. So a lot of that is going to impact what you decide to do in your life. Once you get out in the world, you start dealing with people, you start seeing how life really is, because life is really a lot different from mommy and daddy's world to like real world, it's a lot different. And so that's a big thing too. That's a whole nother video. But so that's the first thing. Start to think about what it is that you want. The second thing is you got to monitor your thoughts. You really, see, I don't know if this is good English, but I love how my one of my favorite pastors in in the world is Pastor Joel Osteen. A lot of people might feel a bit controversial about that, but I love Pastor Joel. And he put it like this one time. He said what I just said. He said, I don't know if this is good English, but you gotta you gotta talk to yourself. Don't let yourself talk to you. So the point is that if you don't talk to yourself, if you don't direct your thoughts, your brain will direct thoughts for you. So you got to keep your brain. It's like imagine if, I don't know if anybody's ever rode a horse, or but if you've driven a car, so a lot of you guys are probably driving right now. You have to keep that car steady. It's gonna kind of drift a little bit, but when you're in your lane, you got to keep it steady. You got to make slight corrections to keep it going straight. Now some people, y'all don't be taking care of y'all car. Y'all alignment is all out of whack. You gotta be the steering wheel is turned this way, but you going straight. For people like that, I recommend y'all go take y'all car in for servicing. But from those people, if you got a decent alignment, the car for the most part will go straight, but the road may not be completely straight. And there's aerodynamic factors that is moving the vehicle, so you have to constantly keep your steering wheel and make these slight corrections, right? um but that's just like how your thoughts is. You have to constantly try to keep your thoughts like on the right direction, on the right path. So this is based on whatever you said you want to do. Like for me, like I give you guys an example. I've already established that I'm going to get my master's degree. Now I've had some challenges with that, just because of life and different things that are going on. And I've thought about not getting my master's. I've thought about dropping out. Those are the thoughts. That is myself talking to me, not me talking to myself. See, I gotta go and I gotta talk to myself, and I gotta say, no, I don't care what you talking about. I know you trying to get out of work. Hey, we gonna go get this master's, because we already know what by me getting that level of education, what kind of benefits I'm going to be able to reap from that. So I'm gonna continue to sow that seed of getting my master's. I'm not gonna let no weeds grow up in my seed. And that's another thing that we got to get to. But before that, before you worry about the weeds, you got to water the seed. You got to water the seed. You got to think about what it is that you want. So for me, like I said, I want my master's. So I be thinking about that. I be thinking about what that diploma gonna look like. I already got my bachelor's. I be looking at that sometimes just for motivation. Then you gotta think about that master's. You gotta think about what it is that you'll be able to do once you achieve what it is that you want. So for me, I know that I want to be a professor. So I just be thinking, man, I'm gonna be teaching college students one day. I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be able to impart to them some wisdom about history and how to life and order, and just I be thinking about that. And so that's what keep me on the right path, because I know that that degree is gonna allow me to have a lifestyle that I want to live. I've already thought about how I want my life to be, because I'm one of the people. I'm one of the people that's gonna always work. Some people, there's this idea in Western society, American society, that when you're 60 years old, that's when you're supposed to retire, and you just go and be a bump on a log. No, I'm gonna be working till the day I die. I don't care if I'm 100 years old. I'm gonna be pushing my thing. If God willing, if I'm 100 years old, I'm gonna still be in a classroom trying to teach people, or be on YouTube, whatever it is out at that time. I'm gonna still be working. I'm gonna still be doing something. So I know that that degree is going to give me that flexibility to be able to do something that is not very physically strenuous. It's stimulating to the mind, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the topic. I love history. I love discussing history. I'm even considering starting a YouTube channel where I talk about different history and philosophical things, and teach people different topics related to history. So I love it. It is really truly my calling to be a teacher. And I'm so glad that I've been blessed with the financial background that I have been blessed with to understand these things about finances, so that I can impart that wisdom to you guys, and you guys can take heed to it and just go miles probably above what I'm doing. So that's the first thing. So you gotta water your thoughts. You gotta think about it. You gotta do things that reinforce that. Surround yourself around other people who are trying to do what it is that you do, because you can't be an eagle. It's a saying, and it might sound cliche, but you can't be an eagle out here hanging out with chickens. If you got people, and it's not to say that those people are chickens in like a figurative, like a literal sense, but if you're trying to do something in life and you're around other people who aren't as ambitious, they're gonna try to drag you down, especially if they're not like virtuous people. They're gonna try to drag you down, and they're gonna try to bring you down to their level. Or they're gonna try to say like, "Oh, he think he did." They're gonna be getting in groups and stuff, talking about you behind your back. Oh, he think he this, he that, because he trying to go do this and that. But if you're around other people who are trying to do the same thing that you're doing, or trying to do more than what you're doing, then the level, the conversation is different, because then it's like, okay, if I'm hanging around other students who are masters, it's like, okay, well, hey, let's go hit the library. Let's go study these different philosophers together. Or hey, if I want to be a real estate agent, hey, let's go study the Texas Realtors Commission's law on how we do this and that. And you networking with other realtors, and y'all all both trying to get to the same place. Whereas if you got a friend that he's happy working, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, right? You guys know for y'all's own situation how things are, but you might have a friend who's happy working at McDonald's, but you got dreams that you want to own McDonald's. And so you can't get somebody who's happy working at McDonald's to have a dream about owning McDonald's. And in fact, if you want to own McDonald's, he gonna call you crazy. Boy, who you think you is? You think you gonna own a McDonald's one day? You ain't gonna never own a McDonald's. How dare you think you can have the money to own a McDonald's? You ain't gonna never do that. This gonna happen, that gonna happen. They gonna try to kill your success. So what you gotta do, you can't talk to people like that. It's unfortunate. You can't talk to them though. Now you can deal with them if you so choose to, but you can't talk to them about where you're trying to go. It's a distinction. So you got to keep the weeds out. That's how you keep the weeds out. Is primarily people, and then like I said, you got to control what it is that you think about, because your thoughts can sometimes allow your own thoughts can allow weeds in, and then other people can allow weeds in. Imagine if you want to own a McDonald's and you listening to the worker, and you start to take heed like, dang, maybe I can't do this. Maybe this is too much. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I don't got it. And still you start to take in those thoughts, and then he didn't kill your whole dream of ever owning a McDonald's, because you didn't listen to the worker when you wanted to be the CEO. So that's a whole nother video. Associations are very important. I think that's a whole nother video that could be a whole video or live stream in and of itself. But just in a general sense, you gotta keep the weeds out. The second thing, and I mean the last thing, brother, it's not the second thing, this is the last thing. And I'm gonna get out of here, guys. This has been a really great podcast. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I got to get to my niece's birthday. But the last thing is that you have to stay diligent. Whatever it is that you say you're going to do, once you come up with that plan, once you come up with that idea, that grand idea, if I want to own a McDonald's, I want to have $1 million, then you got to stay diligent and stay on that course. You can't be indecisive, like, okay, well, one day I'm going to do this. The next day, I'm going to do this. One day, I'm going to do this. Like, you have to stay the course of what it is that you want to do. I'm going to give you guys a great example. Um, and this is legitimately how the world of sowing and reaping works. See, I'm a gardening person. And so that's why, life is likened to a garden. And so I think that it's I like using these garden metaphors, but When you plant a tree, let's say you got a baby tree. When you plant a tree, that tree does not automatically express itself as a fully grown tree. It's a baby tree. And so what ends up happening over time as you're watering that tree, as you're fertilizing that tree grows into a larger expression. It gets bigger, bigger, and bigger. And eventually it's a fully grown tree. So that's how our lives work. You gotta water it. You gotta fertilize it. You gotta stay diligent. Imagine if I planted a tree and then I never watered it. A plant can't survive without water. Imagine if I planted a tree and I never fertilize it. There's nutrients in fertilizer, different nitrogen, CO2, different things that plants need to produce and grow and flourish. Imagine if I never did that. The tree would die. It would die. No water, no fertilizer. How is it supposed to sustain life? It can't. It's the same thing with your thoughts, with your seeds that you're sowing, your financial seeds. You have to water them. You have to fertilize them. Keep thinking about it. Keep the weeds out. Don't let the weeds overtake the roots. Because they're going to try them weeds. They're going to come and they're going to try. You got to keep them weeds out because you want to make sure that you keep your garden pretty. Imagine if you saw a tree that had a whole bunch of weeds on it. And it's a beautiful tree, but it's covered in weeds. It's not even it's not as visually aesthetically appealing if it has a bunch of weeds around it. Whereas if it's clean and nice and cut and it has the mulch and everything, it looks nice. And you know that this is a well-maintained tree. So that is how life works, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast on sowing financial seeds. Um, Again, if there's things that you don't understand after listening to this one time, this is the kind of information that you have to listen to sometimes, maybe more than once. This is the kind of stuff that maybe you have to meditate on. You have to think about how it, affects you. And then again, I'm here. If you want to talk to me, I'm more than willing to talk to you. I'll meet with you for free. I ain't even gonna charge you. I just talk to you just because I want to talk to you. I ain't trying like some of these other people want to charge you. You want to leave me a comment? Leave me a comment. I'll talk to you. But the information that I just discussed, I'm telling you guys, and I speak with the full conviction of what I know. If you're 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, if you grab hold to what I'm saying in this video, you will be wealthy. I'm certain of it. I know without a doubt. I'm 100% certain of it. You will be wealthy. You will achieve what it is that you set out to do in your life. You will do well in life. You will be 30 years old and your friends might be looking around if they didn't follow this video too, and they'll be like, wow, how is he so far ahead? How is he doing this? I sow good seeds. You sow bad seeds. You don't have to throw it in their face like that, but that's what it is though. If you're doing well by the time you're 30 and then you look around and your friends are like, not really doing nothing, you already see the calculation is evident. You sow bad seeds, I sow good seeds. I'm reaping the benefits of my good seeds, you reaping the benefits of your bad seeds. Your bad seeds can't produce a good outcome. My good seeds produce me a good outcome. That's just how it works. So I'm telling you guys, time is of essence. Man, if I could be 17 again, I would go back and do things so differently. If I could be 18 again, I'd go back and do things so differently. If I could be 19, 20 again, I'd go back and do things so differently. So, hey, the ball is in you guys' court. Again, like I said, I'm here. You want to talk to me? I'm here. Just send me a message, comment. Hey, we can make it happen. I'm here. Just something you need me to explain a bit more, I'm here. I don't care. You call me at 12 o'clock at night. It don't matter. I'm here. Just let me know. Anyways, in closing, my name is Joseph Malone. Thank you for tuning into the channel. More videos to come. I have another video where I'm going to talk about wealth. That's going to be coming up next week sometime. It's going to be an extension of the video that I put out a couple of days ago where we talked about assets and liabilities. But yeah, let's start sowing some seeds. Let's put some seeds in the ground. Let's water those seeds. Let's keep the weeds out. And let's see how far we get. You can do it. All right, guys. Take care. I'm going to get to this birthday. Bye-bye.